I know you have kids, but I'm a son to my mother, and I'm there for my mother, and she depends on me. And you took that away for a good long time, and even now, I have a son. You could have killed him.
It was a very selfish act of me, and I didn't think all the way through. I just wasn't thinking, and
That easily could have been a tragedy for some family. You understand? She has 77 skip tests.
When lives are on the line, Judge Boyd doesn't hold back. These are the top 5 DWI cases that shook her courtroom.
Bargaining agreement, state is proceeding on count 1. They're asking your punishment be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,500 fine. State opposes your application for deferred adjudication. They recommend community supervision. There's to be restitution, if any, to Julio Casas Jr. and Cameron Casas. Also, you are to stipulate that on or about January 7, 2022, you were at Pockets, a billiards bar and restaurant located at 5819 Northwest Loop 410, San Antonio, Texas 78238, where you were drinking alcohol beverages and only consumed alcohol beverages at that location, then left the location driving your vehicle, and you drove your vehicle into a vehicle occupied by Julio Casas Jr. and Cameron Casas. Did you understand that to be the plea bargaining agreement?
Yes.
Defense court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. I'm going to request a PSI and TAP evaluation, and you will be back here on August 3rd. At that time, I will make a decision on your application based upon the PSI report and any other evidence that's submitted. You understand?
Yes.
We can go off the record. So is she on any type of device?
I like monitoring.
Judge.
All right, thank you. Probation will let you know what you need to do, and Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset.
Your Honor, does that leg monitor need to remain until August the 3rd?
Oh, yes. Okay. All right, is there anything else?
Nothing further from us, Judge.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I just want to tell you that I feel awfully bad for what I've done. I am sorry, Your Honor, and I learned from my mistakes. I would never do this again. This is embarrassing, and I have 2 kids, and I want to be the life for them, and I just.
Okay, what I will tell you
I'm
is.
sorry, that's all.
No. What I will tell you is this, and I tell this to everybody. These are not mistakes. These are choices that people
Choices,
made.
Yes.
So it's a bad choice that you've made, but it's not a mistake. Okay.
I
All
meant
right.
to say the choice, yes.
All right. No problem. I understand. Thank you. Stephen Wellington. So, Ms. Martinez, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Yvette Martinez.
All right, where are your children?
My children, my daughter's with my son, my daughter's with the grandma of my husband, Robert, back here.
Okay.
And my son is with his dad, which I don't want him there because he has a problem with, drugs, just to be honest, so I'm kind of scared. I don't want him there too long, I want to get him out there as soon as possible.
You're
I
going
just
in,
had nobody else to watch him.
you're going into inpatient treatment today. So we recently learned of a new program. I'll do New Things Ministries. So they may be able to speak to you quickly. We can also try lifetime recovery, but it's going to be while in custody. This is a very serious offense. People could have died. I'm concerned that you don't believe you have an alcohol problem because it appears from everything that I'm reading that you do.
I do, and
Okay.
I take full responsibility for
Okay.
what I did. It was wrong, and I'm gonna pay for it.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take you into custody today. Mr. Longager, if you would like to call are you pregnant?
No.
Okay, if you would like, and the only reason why I asked that is because it was suggested to me that maybe you were, and I would like the deputy to know that, because if you are, they don't handcuff you behind.
Oh,
Okay, so that's why I asked, not that you look pregnant at all. Okay, all right, so I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. There's a $2,500 fine that will be probated. There's to be restitution to Julio Casas Jr. and Cameron Casas, 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once you complete parenting classes, the restitution will be deemed satisfied. Ignition and interlock for half the term, 2-year driver's license suspension. You are stipulating that on or about January 7, 2022 at Pockets located at 5819 Northwest Loop 410, San Antonio, Texas 78238. You consumed alcoholic beverages, and Pockets was the only establishment that you assumed alcohol beverages that day. Then you drove a vehicle, into a vehicle occupied by Julio Casas Jr. and Cameron Casas Jr. Going to have regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Anything else she needs?
Do you want to do DWI intervention or education?
Yes, thank you so much. Let's do DWI education and DWI intervention, and do the VIP live. All right. Anything else from either side?
Nothing on direct.
Anything else you need?
Oh, I just, yeah, I guess they'll better explain to me what I did, or, my sentencing.
Oh, probation is going to go over everything with you, okay?
They could call my daughter's father behind Robert.
All right, we'll let them know because probation is right here. Is there anything else you need to be successful?
I just want to say that I'm sorry and that it was an evil act that I did. And I'm glad that he's alive. I know he suffered a lot. I can imagine what he went through. Not being able to walk, being in a wheelchair, just not being able to work. You know, I got what I deserved today. In the name of Jesus of Nazareth, I ask God to just to help me through this, because I feel bad.
All right.
I knew better, and I made the choice, like you said.
Well, I will tell you this. I appreciate your saying that, because you will not believe the number of people who I have before me who really don't internalize the suffering that they've caused others. So I appreciate that.
And feel remorseful because I went through a lot of pain, and I'm still going through pain. I know you have kids, but I'm a son to my mother, and I'm there for my mother, and she depends on me. And you took that away for a good long time, and even now, I have a son. You could have killed him. If it wasn't for a split second that we broke because we saw you, he would have been dead. I would have possibly been dead, and you wouldn't have remembered any of this. You wouldn't have known anything that happened. You would have been like, well, I don't know what happened. You were intoxicated. You know, in the long run, I think you're getting off easy. You could have gone to jail for killing us. For, you know, I'm disabled. I can't run. I can't swim. I can't horseback ride. I can't get on a bicycle, at least not yet. And I have pain right now. I have pain. I have swelling. Every night, I have nightmares. I hate the breaks in my dreams, and it hurts. I was on pain medications for 10 months. I was in the hospital for a month. I had 3 surgeries. They still want to do 2 more surgeries. I'm scared because I don't want to lose my leg. They thought I was going to lose my leg. I've been thinking about this day for over a year and a half. And every time I think about it, I get real anxious and I start having chest pain. I can't sleep at night. I thought seeing you in court would be easier. Things made it worse. I never looked at you until today. I know you knew who I was after you found out that I was here in court the last few times. I never looked at you. I couldn't. I had a lot of hate toward you. In the end, I just wanted this to end. I don't want to come to court anymore. It's affected my mom. It's affected me going to family celebrations. It's affected me going to even the simplest things as going to a restaurant to eat because I couldn't, because I had an IV bag going into my heart for months because they thought I was going to become septic and die. And if that would have happened, guess what? That would be manslaughter. I feel for you, but you know, like I said, at least you're going to be able to physically do things where I can't anymore. I'm affected for life.
All right, so here's the problem. The problem is I keep receiving these reports. There are skip tests. She's saying that there's an issue with the machine and it's not with her. So we're trying to figure out what's going on with that. Because according to the report I received, she has 77 skip tests from December 13th, 2023 to June 10th, 2024. And it states that those skip tests have been discussed, but defense and I believe Ms. Martinez are saying it's an issue with the machine. It's not her.
And
Yes.
are you waiting for Mr. Rendon?
Oh, sure. Or if you have something to add, you're more than welcome to add it.
Judge, I just wanted to draw the court's attention. The 77 tests over many months.
Mhm.
As you can see on that MTR, they have 12 tests here or 10 tests there.
Mhm.
I also want to draw the court's attention. I mean, that she tests 3 times a day.
Mhm.
And all the other tests, they were not positive.
Mhm.
It was just that these were tests. Now, I guess does the court just want to inquire to Mr. Rendon if
Well, I
a
wanna-
machine can be defective?
No, I'm trying to understand, why do we have these skip tests? I think when y'all were here last time, people said they had an explanation for the skip tests. Am I remembering incorrectly?
Yes, Judge. I mean, what we said was that the machine, and Mr. Rendon, I guess you can see this. Is this your machine?
Yes, sir.
And I, just so you can see it. Judge, I spoke to my client, and this is a new machine that she received just after the 4th of September. And when she was talking to a troubleshooter, basically, they said that the power
Well,
cord.
I mean, he's here to answer some questions. So if you have some questions, what she's saying, what somebody else said, that's all hearsay. If you have questions for him about power cords or whatever, then you all can ask him.
Well, Judge, I believe what my client, I mean, is the court inquiring? Or,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm trying to figure out what is going on. She is on probation for intoxication assault. I know that y'all only pled true to 14M, and 14M is she failed to register or attend the DWI intervention program. All right, so the reason why I'm inquiring about this, because she failed to attend that. She needed to attend that. She didn't. Whatever y'all agreement have, I need answers about this. Otherwise, for her failing to do that, maybe she needs to go to prison. I don't know. Maybe she needs something else. I don't know. So, Mr. Rendon, question him. What is up with this device? Why is there's an issue with this device?
Mr. Rendon, I guess let me inquire to what your specifics are in your job. I didn't call you as a witness, so I'm not familiar with you, sir. Can you
Yes,
please
sir.
tell me-
So, my title is Business Development Manager. I recently acquired that title. Beforehand, I'm a field operations manager for the company since 2017, and I've actually started with LifeSafer since 2011. So I've been working here. I know the device. I know the data. I've been doing this for a while.
So are you familiar with these type of devices and
Yes, sir.
troubleshooting these devices?
Yes, sir.
Okay, have you had to troubleshoot these devices before?
Yeah, been occasionally. So the device relies on um, uh, like a cellular network, and a lot of times our defendants or clients can go outside of cellular coverage. When this happens, we are bound to help the customer to repair the device so we can get the data back, which we do occasionally. And if the test is missed and the client's actively missing the test, the device will register a refusal and it will register a GPS location as to where the device is. So, just given, is there a particular date that we're questioning as far as missed test, or just all of the missed tests in general?
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is this is a machine and runs on a battery, correct?
Correct.
And it can be plugged in and batteries ever go bad in these machines, like our cell phones and everything else, that batteries go bad?
Um, Bad would be a term that I don't think exhausted. That maybe you use your cell phone all the time. I may have to recharge my phone a couple of times a day, but as bad, I don't think that's a correct term for it.
Have you ever had to replace a machine for a battery or a bad charger or anything simple like we have to do with all the devices in our life?
I've had to replace devices for a broken port when the customer forces the USB into the side of the device and it breaks that port.
Okay, so thank you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Now, are you familiar with Miss Yvette Martinez's case at all?
I have her information in front of me.
Okay, is
After,
this the device that she has now? Can you tell whether it has been replaced?
correct.
It was replaced?
It was replaced on the 3rd of September. As
What was the reason?
reason why we may do it if the client is inquiring that they want a new device, then we're bounded to give them a replacement at that point. That does not mean that the device is bad. That does not mean that there's something wrong with the unit. It just means that at that time, if the client inquired or if the court inquired, we are able to replace the device if necessary.
Has that device been run a diagnostic on it, the old device?
No. So once we receive a device that is shipped back to a manufacturer in Cincinnati, Ohio, but the data from the device is real time. So all we can see is what happened prior to the device being exchanged and what happened after the device was exchanged.
So you have all the data there present?
Correct.
So can you send that to the court so that we can review it?
Yes, sir.
So Judge, with him sending the information over, I'd like to have time to review it,
Sure.
to have to reset to review the case before court passes judgment.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson. Can you bring this back on September 16th?
And Judge, for the record, I have the DW education program slip that my client should have submitted to the court.
All right, if you'll give it to probation.
We'll do that.
All right, we'll see you back on that date.
You say 16th, Judge?
Yes.
Oh, it's Monday. Okay, that's easy.
So, Ms. Vela, with regards to the ignition interlock, do you live by yourself or you live with other people?
I think other people.
All right, and who are these other people? Are they relatives?
My boyfriend and his mother.
Your boyfriend and your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Do they have a vehicle?
They do.
This vehicle that you were driving, was that your vehicle?
It was mine, no.
Whose vehicle was it?
It was my boyfriend's.
So she's gonna have to have ignition interlock. With regards to employment,
Real quick, is that vehicle, is it running, is it drivable?
No.
she'll have to provide proof of that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna order ignition interlock. Any other vehicles at that home?
No, just well, it's his truck that doesn't work and then his mom's, but I don't ever drive his mom's car.
Go ahead. Ignition interlock.
Judge, the mother is here if you'd like to admonish her about her using the vehicle.
No, I mean, if a vehicle is sitting in the driveway, it has to have ignition interlock on it. Now, is Child Protective Services involved?
Yes.
And the 2-year-old, where is the 2-year-old now?
With his mother, with my boyfriend's mother. She's my safety plan person.
Tell me, what were you thinking? Because I read the report, not only were you intoxicated with a 2-year-old in the car, but the 2-year-old was not even in a proper carrier. 2-year-old is just in a seat, with a seatbelt.
I wasn't, I don't know. It was a very selfish act of me, and I didn't think all the way through. I just wasn't thinking, and
So where
I
were
was
you
being
drinking?
selfish.
Where were you drinking?
I was with my sister.
At the sister's house? Or
No,
what?
I was going to my cousin's house. So I
So,
was with my sister hanging out, and then I just thought to go hang out with my cousin, and
The question was, were you at your sister's house? Were you at a bar, at a club?
yeah, we were just at my sister's house.
so you're at your sister's house drinking. Does she have children as well?
Not that live with her.
All right, so she doesn't have children that live with her, but she has children. Another Child Protective Services case, the reason why the children don't live with her?
I don't know what her situation is. I don't know what happened, the details of her or what happened, but I just know that the dad took him. He's in the military, and the dad took him. So
All right, and so when you were at your sister's house, was the 2-year-old with you while you all were drinking?
that's,
All right, just wandering around while you all are drinking.
yes,
So then after you finish drinking, then what do you do? Stumble to your car? Because in the police report, it says when they pulled you over, you almost fell out of the vehicle.
I don't think the judge is trying to make you
I know,
feel
I know.
ashamed. She just wants you to realize that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to realize there's so much that could have happened. You know, I had a friend, and a lot of people do not read the warning that's over the visor. And you know that warning over the visor that tells you who can sit in the front seat, and it'll tell you what their weight should be and how old they need to be. And if they're not that age and you put them in the front seat and there's an accident, the airbag will just totally sort of crush them. So my friend didn't pay attention to that, and her child was sitting in the front seat, and she wasn't driving intoxicated. And she felt so bad because her child ended up with scratches on the face. They had to take him to a surgeon to take care of the cuts to his face. But you're driving intoxicated, and you have a 2-year-old on the second passenger row that's not even in a proper car seat, just in a seatbelt. And all the people were calling because you were weaving and swerving. So how often are you drinking alcohol, and what are you drinking?
before it got to this point, it was quite a bit, maybe every other day.
All right, so what, do you know why you're drinking? What started you to drinking a lot?
Judge, if I may, on her behalf, just to
Sure.
help get her going.
Yeah.
She did commence a a 12-step program. She made it through the 6th step. And I think through going through that program, I think those reasons might become clearer to her. I know one of the first steps that she learned was having to accept responsibility for behavior. When she did end up in jail, several family members were trying to get her out. And she took it upon herself to say, hey, look, the thing is, I gotta accept responsibility. Leave me here. I'll go to court and deal with it. I don't know if she really.
So is there any mental health issues that need to be addressed, any past trauma? And I'm not gonna ask you what the past trauma is, but is that something that needs to be addressed? Is there something like
that
that?
is beyond my personal knowledge.
Were you raised by your parents or no?
I was,
All
I
right.
just, before I had like realized it was an issue, you know, I was just doing it selfishly. I don't know why, I don't know, I knew it was an issue, I had a drinking issue, but I didn't realize how much of an issue it was until all of this happened, and it took me to get to this point to realize that what I was doing wasn't right, and I have a son to raise and look after, and I wasn't putting him first. And
All right, so you only have one child? So here's the thing, I'm gonna grant your application, but you're gonna have to start making choices. And sometimes the choices that we make means that certain people can no longer be in your life. If your sister is not gonna get her act together, she shouldn't be in your life. Because, for example, if you would have came to my home and there was a 2-year-old, I wouldn't have allowed people to just be drinking till they're intoxicated. I would have recognized certain things. And if I was not watching and you became intoxicated, I would have said, you're not leaving, I'm taking the keys. So you're gonna have to see people as they are, not as you hope they will be, because you have a 2-year-old and that 2-year-old can't decide and say, hey, mom, I'm not getting in the car with you, you're intoxicated. That 2-year-old is 100% dependent upon you so that they don't have any trauma in their life and so that they go on into adulthood. You understand? All right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility. It will be suspended and probated for 3 years. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. Going to do the DWI intervention and education course. Ignition interlock for half the term.
Judge, she is a little nervous, so
Oh.
just a little patient.
Yeah, don't be nervous. Just tell me the truth. Why are you driving without a license?
so I was with my friends. I know I wasn't supposed to be driving. She told me she wasn't feeling well. A couple years ago, she had fractured her spine and her tailbone, and it often causes her to have back problems where she can't walk or sit too long. So she asked me, is like, hey, like we're a couple minutes away, a couple miles away. Can you just finish out the drive, get us there, and then my boyfriend will drive us back, and then I can Uber you home from there. So I was like, I'm really not supposed to, but you know, you're not feeling well and we can't just sit on the side of the road. So I'll just finish out the drive and then that's it.
Did
That's,
somebody have a phone to call the boyfriend?
she did, but he was at work and he was about to be off. So I don't know what, I didn't think of it at the time. So I just agreed. I was like, okay, I'll get us there. But then after that, I can't do no more because, you know, I can't be driving and she's aware that I can't be driving, but I'll help you out and I'll just get us there and that's it. And it was not far. I hadn't been driving long before the cop pulled us over.
Well, see, the issue about it's not far is neither here nor there. You're not supposed to be driving, period.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you're driving and you don't have a license. And then you're driving and you're not insured. So if there were an accident and you're driving without a license and you hit somebody, do you think anybody would care that, oh, it was just 2 blocks away?
No, ma'am.
Judge, if I may, on her behalf, I don't think she gave the full story, the way it really worked out. This friend that she's talking about is not just a friend, it's somebody that she's met recently, and she's met her through her employment. This friend is her supervisor. She was still on the clock at work, and the supervisor was off the clock at this point. The supervisor returned to work to give her a ride home, and that's when this transpired. When she was actually getting ready to give her a ride home, and then she felt ill. I had an opportunity to run her name through DPS. She is eligible for her driver's license. And we've talked about making arrangements to get her driver's license back. No occupational license is needed at this point. It's just a matter of getting caught up on some fees and DPS fees at that, Your Honor. And paying the endorsement for the driver's license. She did self-report this. It was filed as a Class C misdemeanor because it's a driving while license invalid as opposed to driving while license suspended. And she called me. I told her, bring it in. I'll help her take care of it. She reported to probation a day or two later. And she self-reported it to probation at that point. She herself is up to date on all of the conditions of probation. She's has taken some steps in life because of this probation that has made her a little bit more responsible. Not a little bit, a lot more responsible. Financially, she's making better decisions. On a personal level, she's making better decisions. And on the course here, she's trying to make some better decisions. I asked her what has happened and, what's causing you to do these things. And she said, to be honest, the judge spoke to me the last time and she talked to me about accountability, and I'm, trying to be accountable. Thus the self-reporting and so forth. I don't want to speak out of line, Judge, but I do believe if she would have never said anything, chances are the ticket Class C would have been taken care of and nothing would have ever happened. And of course, she did self-report and let the probation department know that she did receive the ticket.
And state, what are you requesting?
I was again was the defensive driving judge, at least from what I can tell, she is eligible for license. And the fact that she is.
And probation, what are you requesting?
Defensive driving judge.
All right, the court will deny the motion. Alternate amend conditions to include defensive driving. You're not supposed to drive without a license, period. I understand now that your attorney, we can go off the record. Your attorney explained that the person with you was your supervisor. So I can understand feeling pressure because it's your supervisor and you could end up getting fired. But you are not allowed to violate conditions of probation. You're not allowed to drive without a license. You understand? All right, good luck to you. Wish to say, Ms. Bass?
I truly apologize for my actions. I know it wasn't right and I messed up and I'm trying to hold responsibility for what I've done. And if you just give me a chance, I really don't want to be out of my children's lives. Like, I know what matters and they're my priority. I should have known this 6 months ago, but there's no excuse. There's not. I really, really am sorry. Like, I made a mistake.
No, not a mistake. I always tell people a choice.
A choice. I made a wrong choice.
Yes. Because what I've discovered, and I always tell people this, my statistics professor will be upset with me because I haven't done a study. But based upon what I've seen, usually the person who's driving intoxicated, when they get in an accident, they're just fine. Usually it's their passengers who get killed. In this case, it could have been your children. Usually it's some grandmother who's just out trying to enjoy her golden years. I put myself in the golden years category because I'm in the twilight of my life. But usually that's who it is. Somebody who's just trying to enjoy their life. And I don't know why it is in San Antonio and other places. Guess what? If you're going to drink, just have a designated driver. I don't drink. I think alcohol doesn't taste good. That's why I don't drink. But I was always a designated driver for people. You know, because of that, I got free Sprite with lime from everybody because they're like, Stephanie's the designated driver. And I was fine with that. Have a designated driver. Or you know what? Take the VIA bus. I'm going to go drink. I'm taking the VIA bus. Or either drink at your house. There's no need to get behind the wheel because things can go badly pretty quickly. You understand?
Yes, I understand and you are correct.
Okay. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sentence you to a $500 fine that will be probated, 180 days in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 2 years, proof of employment within 15 days, no employment as a home health care provider with minors, restitution, if any, to Carlos Tovar. If for any reason the restitution appears that it's not what it should be, you can always approach the court. 150 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to require parenting classes. Once you complete the parenting classes, that will satisfy your 150 hours community service restitution. I'm going to want 90 sober meetings in 90 days. We can go off the record. Thank you for dressing appropriately for court. And thank you. You were taken into custody yesterday. You were released and you still made it to court on time. I appreciate that. And thank you for your honesty.
Judge, we may need to go back over one more thing. It has to do with the vehicle. She doesn't have a vehicle.
All right, so if she does not have a vehicle, we're back on the record. You will need to provide an affidavit of non-driving. So that means that you cannot drive any vehicle. And probation, I want it checked to make sure that there are no vehicles at that home. And then if that is the case, then the court will order a mobile device. And probation, she can do whichever mobile device, which is the least expensive one.
I believe she's currently on Scram, Your Honor.
Okay.
And she's been riding the bus since she lacked the funds to get the vehicle out of the impound. And I do realize, and I've explained to her that if she does get a vehicle, then she's gonna have to come back to the court or have additional placed on that vehicle at that time, and that term has not expired yet.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Boss, did you have a chance to review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it? Are you the same Vanessa Garcia Boss who was placed on community supervision in 2023 CR 1969 for the offense of driving while intoxicated with a child under 15 on March 28, 2023 for a term of 2 years? Is that you? All right, state.
Oregon, which is second day of May 2023 in Bear County, Texas, the defendant Vanessa Garcia Boss. They've been in there illegally using substance, namely marijuana, violation of condition number 2, state rates for and violation application.
To violation of condition number 2, how do you plead? True or not true?
Revoke supervision, assess punishment and confinement for 180 days.
Is that the agreement?
That's the agreement, Your Honor.
All right, are you asking the court to follow that agreement? All right, and is that 180 days in the state jail facility?
Yes.
All right. Are you waiving your right to appeal? All right, the court will find violation of condition number 2 true. The court will grant the motion. And the court will sentence you to 180 days in the state jail facility. And probation, was there any restitution in this case to Mr. Tovar? I'm also going to request a therapeutic community for her. It doesn't increase the length of time that you're in custody, but if you have any issue, they may be able to help you with that. I don't have the authority to place you in that program. You'll have to request it as well. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Gatan has been enrolled in AA. Here's her proof of attendance. She goes every day. She's also completed her victim impact panel up front. She's enrolled in her DWI education. I'm sorry, her DWI intervention. She's currently on a portable alcohol monitoring device at 3 specimens per day.
Correct.
She does not have access to a vehicle. She has not had access to a vehicle since this incident. And so we are asking that you do consider allowing her to continue on that affidavit of non-driving and continue on the portable device. And then with regards to the 10 days in jail, we ask that you either hold it in abeyance or allow her to do it via house arrest.
Okay. All right, are you employed?
I'm looking for a job right now.
Okay.
She does care for her elderly mother and she's in school.
All right, this caring for the elderly mother. Is that something where she receives payment?
Do you receive? No.
I'm sorry,
I believe she's, are you,
do you receive payment?
I'm looking for her.
but you're not being
Excuse me,
paid.
No.
stop
yes,
with the
ma'am.
conversation.
Oh.
Do you receive payment for taking care of your mom?
Yes, I do.
All right, so that's going to stop because the court doesn't allow home health care people to be home health care providers. So you're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
So do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What are their ages?
29, 20, 28, and 7.
7?
Yes,
And where's your 7-year-old? Does your
That's cool.
7-year-old live with you?
yes.
All right, so you're going to have to get employment.
Okay.
Is there a reason you're not working?
Because it's difficult for me to, it's, no driving, no none of that. What I'm trying to do is do a job at home while it pays, while I stay home and pay any of the bills that I have to pay now.
All right, so
Mhm.
you're going to have to get a job. I
Okay.
require everybody in this court to have employment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court is finding you guilty. Court will sentence you to 3 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 4 years. There's going to be a portable device for half the term with an affidavit of non-driving. Are there any vehicles at your home?
No, ma'am.
If you have a vehicle at your home or one that you have access to, it's going to need to have an ignition interlock. So do you have any access to any vehicles?
No, ma'am, I don't.
All right, probation, if you'll make sure that's the case. There's going to be field visits 1 time per month for 4 months. There's going to be a referral to felony drug court and a TAP evaluation out of custody. There's going to be daily sober support meetings. Until further notice. Proof of employment within 45 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. So if you continue to receive payment for caring for your mother and the court finds about it, which it will, that's going to be a violation of your probation, and a motion to revoke is going to be filed. Do you understand?
I understand.
There is going to be full GPS for 10 days. Waive fees. And GPS is to be installed no later than March 21st. Is that enough time?
Yes, Judge, it's gonna go through the jail,
Yes.
yes.
So no later than March 21st by 2 p.m. There's to be the victim VIP live, DWI education, 100 hours community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once that's completed, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. Make sure they're checking for alcohol. Driver's license suspension for 2 years.
Her license was suspended as a condition of the ALR. Would you consider running those concurrent? I have those dates.
Let's see how she does, and then I'll think about it.
Okay.
Probation, and there will be, is there anything else probation?
On the DWI course, did you want the education or the intervention? The education is 12 hours, intervention is 32.
Well, the problem is her DWIs are so close in time. Usually in this court, I order both.
Okay.
All right. So DWI intervention as well. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. You understand?
I understand.
All right, so I'm going to go off the record. Here's the thing. DWIs, you could have killed somebody. You could have killed somebody with a child.
Correct.
And I mean, you're saying correct, but you need to internalize it because guess what? Maybe there's a DWI driver out there somewhere and maybe your children are in the car and there's somebody out on the road intoxicated. Nobody, I have yet to meet somebody who has a DWI who has committed an intoxication assault or intoxication manslaughter who said, yeah, I picked up a drink and my goal was I'm going to go out and kill somebody. Nobody ever think it's going to happen to them. They're just always thinking, I can handle it. Best thing, if you're going to drink at all, here's the thing. Arrange for an Uber. Now they have Ubers, Lyft, taxis, Via, or you can have somebody who is a designated driver. I was always the designated driver for my group because I don't like the taste of alcohol. Worked out great for me because I had free sodas and free lunch, but that's what you need to do. And you're one of those persons who can't drink at all. That's why you have 3 DWIs. You understand?
I understand.
All right. All right, thank you. Oh, and Bashan, just do a MIC evaluation too.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We're to the question of why she didn't provide that information. Okay, all right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand if you can state your name for the record, please. All right, defense?
It's better. The issue now before the court is, once probation asks you to provide documentation of your car being totaled, did you give it to them? And if not, why not?
Yes, I did, and I emailed it to them, and my husband did also.
What did you email to them?
I emailed them the total loss, and I emailed them that I couldn't keep it calibrated, and from the smart start, like the information. There were 3 forms.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna come back this afternoon. She's gonna remain in custody. We're gonna call pretrial services to testify by Zoom.
I have something else.
Yes.
Your husband's in the hallway
Okay,
and he can testify what in his email.
okay, so yes, I see him right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have her come back. So you're not gonna go to the Bexar County Jail. What's gonna happen is we're gonna come back at 1:30 and I'm gonna have pretrial services Zoom in, okay?
Speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, so that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the issue we have, Ms. Perez. You were given deadlines. And you didn't meet those deadlines. That's why Judge Angelini doubled your bond, because you didn't meet the deadlines. You are on bond for driving while intoxicated, 3rd or more. I'm not accept that as true, that it actually happened, because I haven't received any facts of that. But what I do know is that there are conditions of bond and you need to follow those conditions. And I received, and could I see my documentation, please, counsel?
Yes.
All right.
Our documentation.
Yeah, thank you. Now, before Judge Angelini signed that motion, I received documentation that you were not calibrating. And what I did was I gave you 2 days to comply with calibration. And once that was done, I'm sure there was contact made with probation and with pretrial services. And just because you tell pretrial services your car has been totaled, they don't know if that's been totaled. They need documentation for that. So the question is, why did you wait so long? And you're still under oath. Why did you wait so long to provide them documentation when they told you that they needed that documentation April 15th?
I think
He gave it to 60.
her deadline was the 16th.
All right, April 16th.
I kept trying to email them, but I wasn't emailing them probably to the correct address or something, but I started emailing right away as soon as I got the paperwork from Smart Start and that. And
Did you pick up the phone and call them and said, I've been
Yes, I
trying to
did.
email you?
I did.
All right. Have you had a chance to confer with the state?
Briefly, Your Honor, I was just retained this morning.
Mhm.
And after speaking with my client, finding out we retained knowing she had a warrant, there was a miscommunication about court on Friday. I would like to ask the court to reinstate the bond and provide some evidence
Okay.
as to my client's situation.
I will tell you this, there was no miscommunication. I gave her a setting of when to come back and she did not appear twice. So she's going to go into custody. They will, Ms. Ferguson will have a PR bond done for her. Once I review that PR bond, and since she's in custody, it should be fairly quickly when they get that done. I'll review the PR bond and you all can make your arguments, whether or not a bond should be reinstated or whether or not there should be a bond issued for her. All right. So Ms. Ferguson, on Patricia Pettis, we need a PR bond evaluation done. Yes, just the criminal history. And I do that because there have been changes, as you know, and that's the quickest way for me to get the case on docket if we do the PR bond. Otherwise, I can have it referred to Judge Carruthers.
Oh, no, Judge, the fastest way would be beneficial. We
All right.
appreciate that.
Is that as a defense attorney and even as a prosecutor, I would take note of anyone who has any type of mental health issues. And I would always take that in consideration and try to get them help as quickly as possible. However, I cannot have people who are not abiding by the rules of the court. Number one, being reporting to court. Number two, having ignition interlock for DWI third and all of the things that go along with being charged with the DWI third. So we will come back on what date, Ms. Ferguson? Well, when do you think the PR bond evaluation will be done for her?
No, not for you. For another case.
All right. All right, so let's bring this back in 2 to 3 days. The court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 2 years in prison, suspended and probated for 3 years, $60 to DPS for testing, 100 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. Ignition interlock for half the term. We've been down this road before. Her husband has a vehicle. He doesn't have a vehicle. It works. It doesn't work. But she is going to have ignition interlock on any vehicles at that home. VIP live. There's to be a MIC evaluation that can be done out of custody. DWI intervention. Intensive outpatient treatment with probation. Sober meetings 1 time per week. There's to be a transfer to Kendall County. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. And you can either do 10 days in the Bexar County Jail or she will be on GPS for 30 days. And that's full GPS for 30 days. Which would you prefer? No. Yes. All right, so there's to be full GPS for 30 days in lieu of the 10 days at the Bexar County Jail. Yes.
Searching for employment for 30 days GPS, extend that time to search for employment.
That will be 30 days from the completion of GPS. All right, is there anything else that you need?
No.
Probation, is there anything else she needs? The record. So you were driving intoxicated on Christmas. Sometimes when people are having their Christmas dinner, somebody always forgets something, like they forget the eggs to make the stuffing or whatever. That easily could have been a tragedy for some family, you understand? So obviously, you can't stop drinking, so there's to be absolutely no driving, of course, while your license is suspended, because it's suspended for 2 years. And you need to make sure that you have that ignition interlock, and that's any vehicle at that home. Do you think it's best that she be transferred to Kendall County? All right, so even though you're going to be transferred to Kendall County, what will end up happening if you don't follow the rules there? A motion to revoke will end up being filed and it'll come back to the court. You understand?
Oh, definitely.
All right, so do you have plans in place so you can be successful?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, probation. How is she being monitored with regards to any alcohol use?
Let me double check on that.
Are you on any type of device for alcohol testing?
Well, no, I don't know if this is. Remember, I was supposed to have this for a month, but I've had it for like 120 days now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the reason why you've had it for that time is because you have not been following the court's rules. So is she on any type of alcohol monitoring?
I'll be there.
Because she was the person who had some issues with a vehicle at her house. It was her ex-husband, maybe not her ex-husband.
Your Honor, just give me 1 second.
Okay. Because I had on here ignition interlock for half the term. All right, so she needs to, if she's going to be supervised in Kendall County, she either needs a portable device, but she needs a alcohol monitoring device.
Yes, Your Honor, so if my understanding, based on the report, the car that was at the residence was towed.
Yes,
So if there are no vehicles, you want her to do the portable handheld device and an
Yes.
affidavit of non-driving.
yes.
Will the only thing that's hindering,
I mean, will Kendall accept her? I mean, can't we order for Kendall to give her that?
I mean, yes, it'll be in our conditions, but I'm saying as far as the field visit is concerned, to confirm all of that. Because it's in handle that. We won't.
So you won't be able to do field visits. All right, so yes, so I want her on that sober device then.
Okay.
All right, is there anything else?
Did you want her to remain with the GPS?
Is she able to remain with GPS and be in Kendall County?
Yes, Your Honor, I mean, it's the.
All right, so she's to remain on the GPS device until she's on some type of alcohol monitoring device.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
And Your Honor, I just do want to point out, whenever, because of the offense, whenever she does submit her urinalysis, we do make sure that she is tested for alcohol.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Anything else you need from the court?
No, I'm not.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Delgado. Ralph Delgado.